which is something obviously that they have done here during the Olympic Games, and they've taken this tradition and brought it here for football. Almost tipped it over. But it works. Meanwhile, Atlanta won the toss, and they have deferred, so the Rams are going to get the ball. Matt Bosher, who is their punter and kickoff man, will send it down toward the west end zone. Farrell Cooper, who will go to the Pro Bowl as the return man, is back, and off we go in this playoff game, and we start with a touchback. Let's take a look at the Rams offense.
Jared Goff, Cal.
Todd Gurley, Georgia.
Sammy Watkins, Clemson University.
Robert Woods, USC.
Cooper Kupp, Eastern Washington.
Tyler Higbee, Western Kentucky.
Andrew Whitworth, LSU.
Roger Saffold, Indiana University.
John Sullivan, Notre Dame.
Jamon Brown, Louisville.
Rob Havenstein, Wisconsin.
That offensive line has been extremely healthy. You saw Gurley. He would be in the MVP conversation. And he lines up in the backfield. And the first play from scrimmage is Gurley for about a 4-yard gain up to the 29-yard line. Gurley had a terrific rookie season when they were in St. Louis. Comes here last year, and the numbers really fell off. But this season, as you can see, second in rushing to Kareem Hunt. In receiving yards, second in that category among running backs. And you saw him leading the league in yards from scrimmage, leading the league in touchdowns. Second down and 6 from the 29-yard line.
Main shelter. Let's go D 4-5. Hey,
Off play action. And that time they set up a screen, but it's incomplete. They love to set the screen up for Gurley. Can't hold that one in third down and 6. So last year, you go back to the draft, Jared Goff is number 1, Carson Wentz is number 2. They picked Goff out of the University of California, but then he was on the bench for more than half the season. Case Keenum started the first 9 games here. They brought in McVay after the quarterback Goff had gone 0-7. And of course, this is a whole different story this season. Third down and 6, stacking a couple of receivers to the right side. And the blitz. And Goff is able to get away. But then he falls down at the 28-yard line. So the Rams begin on their first series with a 3-and-out.
You're going to see some pressure coming right up the middle here with Todd Gurley coming over to pick it up. But this is definitely what they're going to have to do tonight, the Atlanta Falcons. This is a team that looked awfully good in their man coverage a week ago in that game. Come right back to it in the first big play, and it pays off.
Johnny Hekker, the Pro Bowl punter, one of the best in the league for years, and booms this one down toward Roberts. And he will let it bounce inside the 10, and Hekker does it again. A beauty that will roll dead at the 6-yard line. So Johnny Hekker pins them deep after a 66-yard boot. Let's meet the Falcons.
Matt Ryan, Boston College.
Devontae Freeman, Florida State.
Derek Coleman, UCLA.
Julio Jones, Alabama.
Mohamed Sanu, Rutgers.
Austin Hooper, Stanford.
Jake Matthews, Texas A&M.
Ben Garland, Air Force Academy.
Alex Mack, Cal.
Weston Schweitzer, San Jose State.
Ryan Schrader, Valdosta State.
Falcons last season, that potent offense, Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator, leading to his ascension to San Francisco as the head coach. Steve Sarkisian is the new offensive coordinator under Dan Quinn. And Atlanta begins this drive from its own 6-yard line. Devontae Freeman is the running back. Off play action. And in traffic, he gets it away, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Sanu. Troy Hill covering on the play at second down.
You're always going to have to stop this guy first. Aaron Donald definitely in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. That was Austin Hooper getting there just in time, or it might have been 2 points for the Rams right away. But this is a bunch that is starting to get recognized. This Rams defense led by that guy right there, Aaron Donald.
Donald going to the Pro Bowl in each of his first 4 seasons. The only interior lineman to do that going all the way back would be Mean Joe Green. 2nd down and 10. Ryan under pressure again. Has to fade away and throws that one into the bench. Chased by Westbrooks. And let's take a look at that Ram defense.
Michael Brockers, LSU.
Ethan Westbrooks, West Texas A&M.
Aaron Donald, Pittsburgh.
Connor Barwin, Cincinnati.
Alec Ogletree, Georgia.
Mark Barron, Alabama.
Robert Quinn, Fort Chester High School.
Tremaine Johnson, Montana.
John Johnson, Boston College.
LaMarcus Joyner, Florida State.
Troy Hill, University of Oregon.
Secondary that figures to have its hands full tonight against Jones, Sanu and company. It's 3rd down and 10 from the 6-yard line. 4-man rush. Pass thrown underneath, and that is caught by Jones. It's a 5-yard gain. He's tackled there by Mark Barron. Coming back from an injury, missed the last couple of games. So each team begins with a 3 and out.
A little nervous start here, I think, for everybody, and certainly understandable for Dan Quinn and his guys. They feel like that is their advantage coming into this one. They have plenty of playoff experience, and the Rams really do not on this football team.
Farrell Cooper, second-year guy out of South Carolina, took the receiving job away from Tavon Austin this season. Bosher's kick into the night sky is hauled in at the 37. Cooper starts to come around the corner, then takes it upfield and brings it back to the 47-yard line. 2.5 minutes into the game in this wildcard playoff game at the Coliseum. No score. This wildcard playoff game brought to you by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. By Coors Light, whatever your mountain climb on. By T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by the 2018 Kia Sorento. Learn more at kia.com. That was the scene in Nashville a couple of weeks ago when the Rams clinched the NFC West, their first division title since '03. Stan Kroenke was the partner on the team for many years, and then after the death of Georgia Frontiere, bought the whole team. So Stan, tonight, the commissioner is also here. Jackie Slater is visiting with him. Robert Kraft, whose Patriots have a bye week, has also come in out of the cold of New England on this very pleasant night where the temperature is in the 60s. From the 46-yard line, Gurley slips to the outside, and Gurley runs into the Atlanta bench, and Jones is able to stop him from going over the bench. Gain of 7.
This has been the story of Todd Gurley all season long. You think you have him under control, then he does this little bounce out and simply outruns people. You see really top-end players against Todd Gurley taking really bad angles because they underestimate his speed.
Gain of 7 here. Ball now in Atlanta territory at the 46-yard line. Rams come up without a huddle. They like to vary the pace. And off the play fake, the pass is incomplete. Cooper Kupp could not corral it. Good-looking rookie out of Eastern Washington, picked in the 3rd round. He's had a great season. 3rd and 2.
Yeah, you'll see the Rams doing a lot of things with their wide receivers, and Sean McVay. They are very much expected to be in the run game because when you have a back like Todd Gurley, you understand you have the potential for big plays. And guys like Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp and Sammy Watkins have really sprung their back for some big runs this year.
That's Higbee, the tight end, sending up in the slot. 3rd and 2, and Goff is under pressure. He's going to go down at the 49-yard line. That's Tack McKinley, their #1 draft choice, coming home, played his college ball at UCLA.
Well, this guy is nothing but a burst of energy. Tack McKinley coming right off the edge, going against Havenstein, and going to beat him pretty cleanly around the edge. It's a little surprising that already we're seeing the Rams drop back and throw it when they've been such a great running team all season. Now here we go.
Hecker can throw, and he lines up here as if he is going to, but now he's going to fake that. Now they go back into a more conventional punt protection scheme. And Hecker, whose first boot was 66 yards, will try to deaden this one inside the 10-yard line, and it's picked up at the 6-yard line by Andre Roberts and run back to the 10. Still no first downs in the game in this wildcard playoff in LA. tomorrow night here on NBC. It's the 75th anniversary Golden Globe Awards. And that's Seth Meyers doing a little maintenance work, catering. He's going to host tomorrow night, 7 Eastern and live at 4 Pacific, right here on NBC. So the Falcons, his first drive started at the 6, begin this drive from the 10, and a little toss back here to Freeman, and he gets wrestled down in the backfield by a bunch of white shirts led by Ethan Westbrook's number 93.
Nicely done on the outside as well by Robert Quinn. There's no question that they're going to try and physically match up with Quinn on the outside. He's a tremendous pass rusher, and Wade Phillips definitely is going to want him getting after the quarterback, but he's not that big a guy, and so the feeling is maybe they can get some push on him and run the football that way. Not that time.
Wade Phillips coming over with McVay at the age of 70. Everywhere he goes, that defense improves, and that was the case this year in terms of points allowed. 2nd and 13. Ryan escapes, but nowhere to run. Gets it back to the original line of scrimmage, maybe a yard beyond. Ogletree makes the stop. Ryan in his 9th postseason game had a great postseason last year. So a rating of 102.4, even though he's only 3 and 5 in postseason.
Yeah, you go back and look at what Matt Ryan did in that playoff run in the Super Bowl. He was phenomenal. And he hopes all that experience carries over here tonight, but so far, not much.
Going a quick count, 3rd and 9. He avoids the sack for the moment, flips it to the outside, and that's a form tackle right there by Trumaine Johnson on Devontae Freeman. So another 3 and out.
Well, you're going to have to get some help right here on this side for Ben Garland, taking over for Andy Levitre. And so far, that has been a little bit of a mismatch. I keep expecting Alex Mack, their center, to work that way, but really so far, they've left these guards pretty much one-on-one.
Mosher in again. It's kind of stopped the pressing stuff. Game is not even 6 minutes old. This is the 4th punt.
2 explosive offenses.
Right, no first downs yet. 4 3 and outs. Cooper back to run it back. Backs up. Now comes forward. Starts the call for the fair catch, then has to let it go. And the ball is loose, and it hit Cooper. And if the Falcons recover it, they're going to be in great shape, and they think they have. We'll wait for Hockley and the crew to come in and let us know. Hockley just joining the party. Atlanta's ball. So Cooper had backed up, came forward, called for the fair catch, muffs it, and Atlanta gets the first big break of the game.
No question, Cooper touched the ball, but then there was a state of confusion out there as the other players were a little confused. Do we grab it? Do we not? We're not sure. Countess didn't know exactly what to do, and ultimately that cost the Rams the football, and that is a huge play for the Atlanta Falcons.
Talking about flipping the field. They were punting from their own 11, and now Atlanta has the ball at the 18. That's your Pro Bowl returner as well. So that didn't figure.
And you have to say the lack of playoff experience. Is this kicking in a little bit at this point here? Who knows? But when you get to this time of year, you have to get yourself settled as quickly as you possibly can. You have to turn it into a football game again and not a playoff football game.
Ed, you got to turn your mic on, I think. Got his hand on the button. Of course, all turnovers are automatically reviewed in New York. Did it hit a Falcon first?
We are reviewing the ruling on the field.
No,
it actually hit the Rams' foot.
Yeah, the foot. It was
Blake Countess.
Yep, Countess's foot. They review it, and we're back in 30 seconds. Well, the way we see it, it's going to be Atlanta's ball.
The ball was muffed by the Rams and recovered by the Falcons. We will review the ruling.
I thought they were doing that. I thought before the commercial. So you can see it again here. It's pretty clear that the first guy who gets hit with the ball is Countess. and then havoc ensues.
Yeah, and then for Pharaoh Cooper, this thing gets kicked into him in a way he wasn't expecting it to happen. But for Blake Countess, he's the one that absolutely knew that he touched it, and then he can't come up with it there.
And Leroy Reynolds, linebacker, 53, is the man who clearly recovers it for Atlanta.
Isn't it amazing, though, how many of these big playoff games come down to a ball flying in, hit somebody in the foot, a scramble ensues, and it takes them a while to figure out they're going to review it.
It puts the specs on. Meanwhile, Sean McVay, at the age of 31, youngest coach in the league by far. Dan Quinn, the Atlanta coach in his third year. Dan Quinn has been a coach in 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls. Defensive coordinator at Seattle with 1 win and 1 loss. Goes to Atlanta as the head coach, 8-8, and then gets them to the Super Bowl last year.
Comes the Jeopardy theme,
yeah.
So we're good for that. But the one strength of this Rams defense this year, many strengths, but one of them has been after turnovers. They have been really stout, allowing just 2 points per turnover. And on offense, they're averaging like 4.5 points per turnover. So this has been a big factor. Wade Phillips' bunch taking care of business whenever they're given the short end of the stick.
Can't figure out how this can take this long. I mean, this is kind of crazy. I mean, we saw it.
The ball was first touched by the receiving team and then recovered by Atlanta. It's therefore Atlanta's ball. The ruling on the field is confirmed.
What'd that take? 6 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it was.
I don't know.
I mean, it shouldn't. What do we? We moan about it every week. What are you going to do?
Golden Globe speech.
Right. All right, so Atlanta has the ball now at the Rams 17-yard line. Sean McVay, so many great stories about this man, the job that he has done this year. Years ago when Mike Tomlin was hired in his early 30s by Pittsburgh, everybody in the next couple of years said, find me the next Mike Tomlin. Now the league's going to go around saying, who's the next Sean McVay? 17-yard line. You got Tevin Coleman in the game. He shares time with Freeman, and now he comes into the backfield.
Extra offensive lineman in there for the Falcons.
On the left side. Give it to Coleman. He'll swing that way, and he'll get turned back and stopped there by Troy Hill. Wouldn't let him get around the corner. In the red zone, the Atlanta Falcons over the last 5 weeks, even though they came down the stretch and were 6-2, they were 12th in the league through week 12, but over the ensuing weeks, 4th from last at 35% getting into the end zone from the red zone. Steve Sarkisian coached USC for a year and a half, went to Alabama last year in the championship game. The new offensive coordinator. Let's see what he has dialed up on a 2nd down and 7. Play action again. Ryan floats one into the end zone, and it is incomplete. Intended for Sanu. He's covered there by Troy Hill. 3rd down and 7.
One thing you know about Robert Quinn, not a lot of change-up moves for him. He pretty much is a speed rusher coming around the edge. And I think one of the real disappointments this year for the Falcons is that their best player, Julio Jones down here, has yet to really get anything going in the red zone. 19 targets for Julio Jones and just 1 touchdown on the season. Almost can't believe that number.
It's amazing. Secondary receiving yards to Antonio Brown and only 3 touchdowns all season, period. 3rd and 7. Ryan's going to step up and get tackled at the 11-yard line. So the secondary does its job. Quinn makes the tackle, and they will limit Atlanta to a field goal attempt from the 42-year-old Matt Bryant.
So they're trying to get Julio Jones going here, and they get Justin Hardy on the other side trying to set a pick, and it just turns into one big collision, and there's nowhere for Matt Ryan to go with the football. So once again, the struggles continue after the big play by special teams.
Matt Bryant, 42 years old, 16th year in the league, had a great season. Big 56-yarder last week in the finale against Carolina. This one 29 yards. And he bangs that one through. So they cash in off the turnover. Do the Falcons, 7:13 left in the quarter. 3-0 Atlanta.
To make Al Michaels dance.
Oh, you do?
So Al Michaels, if we can get you to shake your booty at the Super Bowl halftime show. By the way, we can start that hashtag. Right? Hashtag Al Michaels shake your booty. That will be the icing on the cake.
You know, Justin's going to be the Super Bowl halftime performer. Will they buy the Foxtrot? What do you think? Can we bring the Foxtrot back?
No. We're going to have the booty cam going on you. We want to see the full shake 'em up. Justin Timberlake, let's go.
Do a Katy Perry come flying in. Trapeze. Here's Pharaoh Cooper. Returning it and out to the 17, and a flag comes in. KZ whacked him, and Cooper is in some pain as he gets up.
You can't go low on a guy trying to block you. And there was contact with the blocker before he got to the ball carrier.
So Cooper comes back to the sideline. We'll get Hockley's goal. This is the first penalty of the game.
During the return, personal foul, illegal block below the waist by the kicking team, number 27. 15 yards enforced from the end of the return. First down.
DeMonte KZ.
A rough start so far for Pharaoh Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can see he goes low into the blocker before he ever gets to Cooper, does KZ, and that was appropriately called.
Went low on Morgan Fox. All right, so the Rams now start from their own 32. Goff has already been sacked twice. They're still looking for a first down, and you got movement along the line.
Neutral zone infraction, defense number 50, 5-yard penalty, it's first down.
Brooks Reed, and that makes it first down and 5.
Well, and maybe that gives the Rams a chance now to stick with this running game a little bit. The one thing they did not want to do against this 8-man front that the Falcons love throwing at them is get discouraged too soon from running the football. And clearly the Falcons are trying to put the ball in the hands of Jared Goff and make him beat him, not Todd Gurley.
Gurley through the middle. This is his third carry, gained 12 on the first 2. And on a 1st and 5, he's very close to a first down. Keanu Neal is there to make the stop along with Courtney Upshaw.
Yeah, and let's talk about Keanu Neal just a little bit as they hurry up the pace. That is the 8th guy down in the box to try and stop Gurley.
That is enough for a first down, so the Rams have their first. That's the first of the game, period. Atlanta with 3 points on the board, but no first downs. And from the 42-yard line, off play action, and he slips it to Gurley, and Gurley will get taken down. Good tackle right there by Brian Poole, wrapping him up before he can escape. Second down.
Well, that was the conversation all week long amongst the Atlanta Falcons, is that they're going to be put in one-on-one tackling situations against Todd Gurley, and he's been making everybody miss all season long. That was a big play.
Poole made it, second down and 7. Rams go without a huddle. Do this a lot, much as Peyton Manning did for years. Go no huddle, but take a lot of time off the clock. Play action again. Going deep downfield and batted away at the end by Alford, intended for Sammy Watkins. Robert Alford, who had the pick 6 against Brady in the Super Bowl last year. It's 3rd down and 7.
Nicely done on the outside by Robert Alford. He sure did have that big play in the Super Bowl last year, and you could see that Sammy Watkins gave him the hook. He wanted it, but Alford able to turn around and make that play. So this was perhaps the best game I saw from the Atlanta Falcons secondary a week ago against Carolina, and they have so far been pretty brazen with what they're trying to do here. They are going to try and force Jared Goff to beat him throwing the football. They are all over the line of scrimmage.
They intercepted Cam Newton 3 times last week. 3rd and 7. Good protection, and over the middle, that's incomplete, intended for Kupp, and he's well covered by Desmond Trufant, so it'll be 4th down and 7.
Well, and don't forget that Desmond Trufant was the guy that was not in the playoffs a season ago, and he is their best cornerback. And they know exactly where they like to go with the football on 3rd down, and it is Cooper Kupp. That time, no match for Desmond Trufant.
Johnny Hecker in for his 3rd punt. Andre Roberts back to accept it. Fair catch called for and made at the 11-yard line. 5.5 left in the first quarter. 3-0 Falcons. What a difference a year makes. Last year, the Falcons, 34 points per game, led the league. The Rams, 14 points a game last. This year, the Rams lead 30 points a game. The Falcons, middle of the pack with 22. Rams, 254 more points than last season. The Falcons, the largest decrease by a team that averaged 33 or more. Right now, it's 3-0. Devontae Freeman is the running back. He'll take it from the 10-yard line, get it out to the 14. So Devontae Freeman, fourth-round draft choice out of Florida State. He's not only a great runner, but catches the ball and shares time with Tevin Coleman. So you talk about that two-headed monster, and Atlanta has that in the backfield.
Yeah, and we talked to him the other day, and we talked about, how do you practice? What do you do? He said, even in walkthroughs, he said, I try to practice making air miss. I'm like, what? How do you make air miss? That's a quick guy if you can make air miss.
Put a fullback in the game right now. That's Derek Coleman. Played his college ball at UCLA. First time they've shown this set. 2nd down and 6. And taken down at the 17-yard line, Ethan Westbrooks takes Freeman down there. It'll be 3rd down and 3 for the Falcons.
The Rams really made some good decisions this offseason, and one of them I thought was taking Michael Brockers from the nose tackle position when Wade Phillips got here and moving him out the end and letting Ethan Westbrooks play that nose tackle position. Made them much stouter inside, but still, because of the way they penetrate on defense, occasionally they can get gouged and give up big plays in the run game.
Now you got Freeman on a wing and Jones inside him to the left, and 3 receivers stacked to the right, and everybody goes into the pattern, and Ryan is trying to escape and throws and is able to get it to Mohamed Sanu for a 1st down. So Ryan able to get out of trouble and convert.
That was a brilliant play by Matt Ryan right here. Watch the way that this guy maneuvers inside the pocket. Think of Tom Brady. Some of those guys duck his shoulder, know he had the position over there on that side, and convert that big 3rd down.
And Coleman had him well covered, had Sanu well covered. That's the first down for Atlanta. 3.5 left in the quarter. If Atlanta wins, it's on to Philadelphia. If the Rams win, they go to Minnesota next week. Ryan flushed out, keeping his eyes downfield, fires wide open is Jones. You don't see him open that often, that much, to the 49-yard line. I mean, everybody's going to look for Julio Jones. He got free, big 1st down.
Yeah, and it was so far down the field that you're going to see Tremaine Johnson turn his head and start looking for the football. And because of the fact Ryan was scrambling, Johnson just anticipated the ball had to have been thrown by then, turned around and looked for it, and Julio was going the other way.
27-yard gain.
That is a tough match for anybody. Tremaine Johnson, a bigger guy, 6'2", so physically matches up, but the speed of Julio, dangerous.
Well, at the 50, and then it's Jones on an end around, even though they bumped. And Jones is going to turn that into a 14-yard gain. So a little collision there between Ryan and Jones, but it works out for a gain of 14.
Yeah, well, the key is going to be on the backside. You have to be able to play this. Sometimes you hope that somebody's going to be screaming with that tight split that Julio Jones is down tight. Watch a reverse, watch a reverse. Obviously didn't get communicated here. Nice job of olaying there by Matt Ryan on that handoff.
A little pirouette.
Yeah.
Double axel. The 37-yard line. Freeman the back. And again, they hand it to Coleman, who comes around, and Coleman takes a spill on the bench. And again, Ryan getting very close to the ball carrier that time as well.
Yeah, no question. And they've got, Tevin Coleman doesn't play a lot with Devontae Freeman. In this game, one of the things they wanted to try and do is get both of them on the field at the same time and create some one-on-one matchups with the quickness, really, of Devontae Freeman and the speed of Tevin Coleman. You saw it there on the jet sweep.
So Freeman out of the game for a moment. Coleman is the back, flanking Ryan in the gun from the 33. The fake to him, and then the pass is a little low, and Sanu can't handle it over the middle. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, it's one of those RPOs. You remember we talk about that all the time? So basically, this is just Matt Ryan's decision. If he likes the way the run looks, he hands the ball off to Tevin Coleman. If he likes the way the pass looks, he pulls it out and throws it backside.
Take a look at that. Overall, 45% for the Falcons. So even though They weren't what they were last year offensively. They're still number 1 at converting on third down.
Well, and the guy you always have to keep your eye on in every key situation, Julio Jones is the guy that is usually the target.
Send him to the middle of the field. Ryan again escapes, and then it's dropped. So it's fourth down. That time Aaron Donald put the heat on. Aaron with 11 sacks this season, fourth down.
Well, there's Donald right there, but watch the center here. Alex Mack is going to work his way that way. When Ogletree didn't blitz, it gave him a chance to come over and help Ben Garland there, and just enough for Matt Ryan to escape.
So this will be a 51-yard attempt. Atlanta trying to get the right number of people on the field here. Austin Hooper comes in to become the 11th guy. 51-yard attempt. Bosher to put it down on a windless night. And Bryant. Boy, he and Vinatieri are just too much, aren't they?
Something else.
Great year, age 42. Accounts for all 6 points thus far, 6 of them. So the night before the Super Bowl, celebrate the NFL's best performances, including the most valuable player announcement. NFL Honors coming Saturday, February the 3rd on NBC the night before the Super Bowl. 4 weeks from tomorrow is Super Bowl 52. NBC will be there. Pharoh Cooper from the 9-yard line to run it back. Spins away. And if Laws loses the ball, and Atlanta may have come up with it at the 32-yard line. KZ was the guy who hit him, and it's going to be Atlanta's ball. So of all things, Pharoh Cooper going to the Pro Bowl has been involved in 2 turnovers in the first quarter.
Well, when Pharoh Cooper got spun around, he lost his vision, and KZ was able to come in and punch that thing out, and now it's game on again. It's just so remarkable. One of their best weapons, and Pharoh Cooper has basically taken the ball out of his own team's hands now twice.
4 turnovers by special teams during the regular season, tied for most in the NFL, and 2 already in the first quarter tonight. So the defense trying to stiffen again and hold them to at most a field goal attempt. They start from the 32-yard line. Through the middle. Tripped up, gained 2. Freeman stopped there. Second down and 8 upcoming. Minute to go in the opening quarter.
Nice play that time by Alec Ogletree. Dan Quinn, a guy that, well, he's used to being around Super Bowls, isn't he? A couple in Seattle, and of course last year with that one. It seems like every year we're interviewing him at the Super Bowl.
3 of the last 4. Put a fullback in, Coleman, and then toss it to Freeman coming around the left side. And Freeman about a yard or 2 shy of the first down, taking the ball inside the 25-yard line. 3rd and short.
If you remember the Super Bowl, Al, this is the way it kind of started for the Atlanta Falcons early in that game. They would go into that double crack situation and bring these big wide receivers down on the outside and then get the pitch from out there, and it really just sort of walls off that entire part of the defense.
Going to take us to the end of the quarter, all about turnovers through 1. It's Atlanta 6 and the Los Angeles Rams nothing. This wildcard playoff from LA continues after these messages. Snoop Dogg in the house at the Coliseum in Los Angeles for this wild card game as we start the second quarter. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. It's 3rd and 2. Atlanta up 6-0 from the 24-yard line. Ryan to the outside. That's caught. That'll move the chains. It's Mohamed Sanu for a first down.
Inside part of the bunch here coming out. Nice job here not doing too much with the pick if you don't have to do it. There just really wasn't much to do. The Rams tried to switch that thing off, but couldn't do it quickly enough. So the team that's been so good on third down all season continues with a big play.
At the 18, Atlanta 4.4 yards per play, and the Rams 1.4. Atlanta 87 total yards to 14 for the Rams. To the outside, but going nowhere is Freeman as he runs smack into Morgan Fox. Second down.
Yeah, and right now Alec Ogletree is starting to create some problems for the Falcons in their run game. He has been getting penetration going through the line of scrimmage, and even though he's not always making the plays, he's making it awfully tough on these guards, in that case Wes Schweitzer, to try and catch up, help the center, and then try to catch up on those outside zones. His speed is definitely a factor.
2nd and 10. They've got both Freeman and Tevin Coleman in the game, but they split them. Hooper lines up slot left, and the pass goes out to Tevin Coleman, and he will get wrapped up at the 13-yard line by Mark Barron. 3rd down and 4. Last 2 seasons, Julio Jones in the red zone. Hard to believe. 9
really
catches, 84th and 101st, 3 touchdowns over the last 2 years.
You know, we saw Calvin Johnson at the height of his career. Sometimes they would go out in that vice and actually put 2 guys on him and just make sure he didn't beat them. But when you have an athlete like Julio Jones, it's just hard to imagine that he hasn't been a bigger factor than that in the red zone.
And it was halfway through the season before he caught his first touchdown pass. That play clock is all the way down to 2 as they get it off, and Ryan fires over the middle, and that is caught. Tackle made immediately. That's Austin Hooper, and we'll see where they spot it. John Johnson, rookie out of Boston College, makes the tackle, and they have a first down. So it's going to be 1st and goal at the 7-yard line.
Sometimes so many defenders really get concerned about the pick coming, so they fake it and come back underneath it with just enough room there to keep this drive going.
7th play of the drive. Following the turnover, Ryan slips it to the outside. Here's Jones fighting his way to the 3, and we go to Michelle.
Well, yeah, Julio Jones, I talked to him about his lack of touchdowns in the red zone. He said, I've got doubled and tripled. I've got guys all over me, and defenses cheat coverage to me in the red zone. And he added, I'm not selfish. I tell them, look, don't force anything. If other guys have one-on-one matchups, get it to them.
And you would hope, Michelle, that it opens up the spaces for guys like Sanu and Hardy, Taylor Gabriel. Bringing an extra lineman here on the 25th play on 2nd down and goal. Play clock all the way down. And the Rams are going to take a timeout. Aerial coverage tonight being brought to you by Geico as you look at the fabled Santa Monica Pier. Ferris wheel adorned in Rams blue. One of the downtown buildings lighted up last night. It's the Rams who were here. Well, they were here in the Coliseum through '79, went to Anaheim through the '94 season, to St. Louis for 21 years, and then back last season.
You can see that Sean McVay wasn't very happy. He's sprinting down the sideline. Did not like what he saw in that situation at all. Former wide receiver and quarterback. Pretty good 40-yard dash time to get there.
31 years old. We talked about Wade Phillips is 70, the defensive coordinator. Phillips had the line of the year, though. He said, we're the only coaching staff where the defensive coordinator is on Medicare and the head coach is on daycare. 2nd down and goal from the 3.
Julio one-on-one if they want it. Doesn't look like help now.
At the top, give it to Freeman. He's going to bust his way as he leans and gets in. Touchdown behind Alex Mack, the Pro Bowl center. 8 plays, 32 yards after the turnover.
This is not an unusual play. Watch the center, Alex Mack. He's going to come off his block, borderline a little bit too early, but then he's going to see Freeman stuck at the goal line. So here he comes. He's going to come give him a big bear hug and just slam him into the end zone. Not often you see a center tackling his own player, but he's tackling him the right way. A little Jake Matthews there with the double team to get Freeman in.
Well, Convoy gets in. So it's 12-0 going on 13. Bryant for the extra point. Did not miss one during the regular season. And starts off with a perfect postseason. 2 field goals and a point after. Early in the second, it is 13-0 Atlanta. This Wildcard playoff game being brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes can save you 15% on car insurance. By The Commuter, starring Liam Neeson, in theaters on Friday. By Toyota Let's Go Places. And by AT&T. It's the Walk of Fame along Hollywood Boulevard.
There we go.
Oh my God.
There we go.
Well, I went by there the other day. Dogs love it. Larry David has a star. There he is. He's probably watching us. Larry, curb your enthusiasm, would you?
I want him to make a skit about your star. That's what I want.
Yeah. And shaking the booty as well. 13
You're the star here in LA so far.
50 cents per mile to drive to the game. Bosher's kick is fielded at the 3. Farrell Cooper. He's had a night to forget already. Brings that one back out to about the 24-yard line. Go back to Goff last year. He was the #1 pick. He was 0-7. He took over a little bit more than halfway through the season, and the numbers were not very good, as you can see. Now you go to take 2. Gets new receivers. He gets Kupp. He gets Watkins. He gets Woods. Got the tight end there, Everett, as well, and a whole different story. And the new coach, of course.
Yes, but so far in this one, 14 total yards, 17 rushing, and -3 passing. A couple of sacks thrown in there. This has not been what we've seen all year.
No. And Gurley gets stuffed as he goes to the middle. You know, we were with both teams the last couple of days, both with a lot of confidence. The Rams you can expect. They're home. They're in the playoffs for the first time, but you could tell from Dan Quinn and Matt Ryan yesterday, they're coming in thinking, oh, we're going to win this game.
Yeah, they're the only ones in the NFC that they were in the playoffs last year, back in the playoffs again, and so they felt really confident. It was a matter of them sorting a few things out, and well, if the offense can start scoring touchdowns, they got a great shot.
2nd and 10, and the pass is caught up at the 30, and trying to get the first down is Robert Woods, and he does. 4 years at Buffalo, signed him as a free agent. That moves the chains.
I'll tell you one thing, though, from last year, watch Jared Goff, how much more comfortable he looks in the pocket. I remember even when we did the game earlier this year against San Francisco, there were times that he was backing out of the pocket and taking sacks, and here's the whole process of how they get these plays called. Until there's 15 seconds on that clock, Sean McVay is allowed to communicate with Jared Goff, and so then he sees the defense and makes the change.
He has 25 seconds to do it, turn it off, and then slipping is Todd Gurley. Go right back to McVay. Of course, he got the job because of what he's done offensively. Kirk Cousins loves him. He's an offensive guru. He worked for both Grudens, both John and Jay, and for Mike Shanahan.
Yeah, and they are just taking advantage of all the time that they have. Until it hits 15, they can still communicate. He's standing back there well behind the defense. He's only interested in what the defense is showing. Then he makes the call and then unleashes Goff.
2nd down and 12. Slipping out. Gurley drops it. So it'll be 3rd down. Boy, 3rd down and 13 now.
This just is not the team that we have seen this season. They have been just tremendous. And on the other side, Matt Ryan looks like he's perfectly comfortable back in the playoffs again. They're still a little obviously upset over what happened to him in the Super Bowl, blowing the 28-3 lead. They were ready for this one. They were clearly ready for this.
They're the playoff experienced team. The Rams are only 3 starters who've ever played in a postseason game. Everybody else a novice tonight. Goff setting up, fires over the middle, and that is caught. A flag is thrown. Robert Woods makes the catch. Alford trying to win a case for offensive interference. And Hockley, a lawyer, right after this sidebar tells us.
Before the pass was thrown, holding defense number 23. The penalty is declined. The play results in a first down.
Gain of 15.
We talked about all the new wide receivers coming in here, but this guy right here, Andrew Whitworth, is blocking against Adrian Claiborne, who had 6 sacks against the Dallas Cowboys this year. And he has made a huge difference along with John Sullivan, their center. And you can see Alford just flicking the helmet. And that was a good call.
From the 49 now. Goff dancing, looking, throws it at the feet of Gurley. Neal comes over to cover him. You talk about Sullivan and Whitworth, Chris, and those are 2 of the 3 starters, the other being Barwin on defense, who have any postseason experience.
Yeah, but they've done a good job here in, just making everybody comfortable. I think Whitworth was the guy, if you've ever met him, he's like the mayor, right? He was in Cincinnati. He was brought here, a big contract, all pro this season. And he has a way of just settling things down in the room. But John Sullivan, the center, is the guy who's making all those play calls up front, taking a lot of pressure off of Jared Goff.
Former Viking and Redskin on 2nd and 10. Stuffing Gurley again. It's Deion Jones, the middle linebacker, number 45.
Trying to get a little trap action going here, but Deion Jones, who I think is becoming one of the absolute best linebackers in the league. We saw him against the Saints earlier this year make that game-saving interception in a huge game there.
No huddle, 3rd and 9, and that pass is thrown at the feet of Gurley. Atlanta putting the pressure on. Goff going to the ground. Devondre Campbell came in to stuff him. 4th down.
Devondre Campbell right there is going to come up, and you're going to see that Todd Gurley sneaks out past him, and so he just continues on. Probably a read blitz, but once he got to a certain point, Campbell made the decision just to go get him.
Becker into punt, his 4th of the night. Nose down, backspin on it. Roberts calls for and makes a fair catch at the 13-yard line. 8.5 to the half, and it's 13-0 Falcons. Won't be long now. February 8th is the opening ceremony. The Winter Olympics from South Korea. And all of the action for the first time ever. Live coverage, coast to coast, beginning on the 8th, followed by the opening ceremony on the 9th. Of course, here you have the Cauldron. The Olympics were held here in 32, in 84, and in 2028, back they come to Los Angeles. Tevin Coleman is the back here, and they split him out as Atlanta starts this drive from the 13-yard line. Ryan throws, Sanu makes the catch and picks up 11 yards on a first down before Mark Barron takes him down.
Yeah, we haven't seen a whole lot of pressure so far from Wade Phillips. Kind of get the feeling that he's perfectly happy with the matchups he's seeing inside, with Aaron Donald getting some pretty significant pressure without having to send that 5th rusher. So some 3-man rushes, a little zone coverage there.
From the 24-yard line. And the ball off, going through the middle is Coleman. Tevin Coleman played his college ball at Indiana in his 3rd year. Splits time with Freeman. Both of these guys can run and catch. And here comes Freeman back in the game.
Yeah, and it's the speed of Coleman that gets your attention. It's the quickness of Devontae Freeman. He is the cutback guy. But in the NFL, in college football, they have those wide hash marks. So when you're on one hash mark, you got a lot of space to run to the boundary. In the NFL, they're faster, and it's much harder to get to the boundary because it's a shorter part of the field.
Good point. Never thought of that.
Thank you very much.
2nd down and 8. Ryan throws. It's caught up at the 30-yard line. Goes to the tight end, Austin Hooper. That'll set up a 3rd down and about 3.
Well, one of the great hand fighters in all of football is Aaron Donald. Watch him work his hands on the outside against Ryan Schrader. You will see double slots, arm overs, arms up and through. I've seen him at times grab the wrist of the offensive lineman and throw him aside. He's pretty remarkable with all the things he can do with his hand fighting.
3rd and 3 with 6.5 minutes until halftime. Ryan under pressure. Down he goes at the 23-yard line. First sack for the Rams. Donald and Brockers are both there together, and it's 4th down.
This is a great call here by Wade Phillips. They're going to fake the blitz up the middle, and it's going to hold the center Mack just long enough so he can't go help on the right side with Donald, who manages to sneak right past Wes Schweitzer for a big sack.
And if you can't help on Donald, you're in trouble. Meanwhile, you've got Brockers, who is down on the ground. That defensive end, so much of the acclaim and attention goes to Donald that you forget about this guy. But we were talking to Donald the other day, and he talked about what a difference this guy makes.
Yeah, and look at what happens. And it happens sometimes. You just go, boy, that's a great play. 2 defensive players meeting at the quarterback. But a lot of times when that does happen, the real collision happens between the 2 defensive guys. You know, the friendly fire.
And team doctor Neil Elatrosh is out there. Brockers rises to his feet. They each get credit for a half sack here. And the next play will be an Atlanta punt.
Well, that's exactly what the Rams needed on the defensive side. They needed a play. They need to give their offense a chance. Their offense got a little momentum going in that last drive. Now they need one of those trademark big plays that we've seen throughout the course of the season.
Cooper making sure he had 10 teammates on the field. Basha with his 3rd punt of the night. Cooper backs up, fields at the 22 with a little bit of a juggle, and down he goes at the 21-yard line. That's where the Rams start their next drive. 5.5 to the half, 13-0 Falcons. In the offseason, the Falcons elevated Marquand Manuel to defensive coordinator. He had been on the staff, former safety, played in the Super Bowl with Seattle back in 05. Done a really good job. 8th in points allowed, 9th in yards allowed. First time they've been in the top 10 in both categories in 2 decades. And doing a nice job so far tonight. The Rams limited to 44 yards. They start this drive from the 21. Gurley trying to get untrapped. His 7th carry to the 25-yard line.
Well, not only have they been able to stop Todd Gurley, but they have gotten a lot of pressure tonight on the young quarterback, Jared Goff. Whether it be a 5-man rush or not, the one thing that Marquand Manuel wanted to do was force Jared Goff off the spot, if you will. And we've seen that spot be disrupted quite a bit tonight. His feeling is that young quarterbacks, more often than not, make bigger mistakes on the move than they do sitting in the pocket where they've been practicing all week.
2nd down and 6. Keep it on the ground. Gurley, slip move there. Beautiful move. Takes it to midfield and beyond before he gets banged out of bounds, and you got flags all over the joint, and that'll add another 15 to it. So off to the races behind a Tyler Higbee block. That's a 26-yard gain and tack on 15 more. Shifty.
Tyler Higbee, who's in the game because he's a great blocker, coming over with the kick out, and then Gurley being just patient enough to let that happen, set it up, and then the speed. Then as soon as you think you start to get him, I mean, I have seen really top-end players.
Unnecessary roughness defense, number 37, late hit out of bounds. 15 yards from the out-of-bounds spot, first down.
There was pretty clear Ricardo Allen. So that brings the crowd to life. After the penalty, they'll march the ball all the way down to the, let's see where they're going to put it here. About the 34 is where they should put it.
Yeah, the Rams just have to stick with this. I know it hasn't been easy, And the Falcons are one of those single safety teams. They play 8 in the box, and Keanu Neal is down there, and you can't block him, and I get all those things. But their best player, and it's not even close, is Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley, if they're going to come back and win this football game, Todd Gurley has to have a whole lot more plays just like that.
Running or catching. Meanwhile, he had 19 yards on 7 carries prior to that, less than 3 yards per rush. But sooner or later, you knew he was going to break one. Good for 26.
Well,
first down.
But we also have to give a little credit to what's going on this defensive side. Dontari Poe, Grady Jarrett, Matava Rubin. Those horses in there have been making life awfully tough as they've been trying to run the football. Here's that snap start offense.
3 receivers bunched to the right. Goff going deep downfield and incomplete, intended for Woods. Covered there by Alford, who had perfect position on him. Crowd wants a flag, but won't get one. 2nd down.
It's pretty amazing. That's the 2nd time tonight I've seen Robert Alford basically facing the wrong direction. You want to be running with your back the other way. He's turning that way, turns his head to the inside, and manages to make a play. So good man coverage down the field on these wideouts. So far the difference. They really need to get a big play out of Sammy Watkins. He's the one with the speed. The other guy's more of the ball control style of passing.
Watkins no catches so far tonight. Play clock at 2. Goff dancing around, keeps his eyes downfield. That's caught at the 20-yard line for a first down. That's the rookie Cooper Kupp. Crowd chanting, "Coop, Coop." First down.
Boy, this is great on both ends. I really love the play by Jared Goff. Look, his eyes never come down at all. That's faith in that offensive line. And Cooper Kupp has really just become a bit of the favorite around here. It's pretty remarkable for a guy who runs 4.6, the number of big plays he's made.
Now Malcolm Brown, they fake to him. He's the backup back. Throw it here to Robert Woods, and he gets taken down. Good tackling tonight by the men in red. Brian Poole makes that stop there. 2nd and long.
That's the 2nd huge open field tackle we've seen out of Brian Poole tonight. And he is really the one they thought they would be trying to go after. Robert Alford, we've seen him make plays in the passing game. Desmond Trufant, probably their best cornerback. So if they can't make hay against Brian Poole, it's going to be a long night.
Malcolm Brown stays in the game. Gurley gets a break here on 2nd down and 8. Give it to Brown. And he moves the pile a little bit. Takes it down to about the 13-yard line. Where for the Rams, it'll be a key 3rd down and 5 as we tick down to 3 minutes to go in the half, and Gurley comes back into the game.
I'm always amazed at how football works, and sometimes the smallest guy on the field ends up being the best blocker. Robert Woods has been asked to basically at times play like a fullback position. They motion him down inside, and he's the one whose job it is to get number 22, Keanu Neal, that safety coming down.
Woods 6 feet even, about 193. Gurley flanking Goff, 3rd and 5. And Goff will throw to the end zone, and it's hauled in by Cooper Kupp. Touchdown. Threw it over Brian Poole, who came back the other way. So the Rams get exactly what they needed, a scoring drive, 79 yards.
Great play by Robert Woods here. His job is to pick down here, but when he saw that he didn't have the great angle and that Kupp was going to win anyway, he let it go, didn't get the call against him, and here we go, Rams.
Now, the best kicker in the league, or one of the best, is on injured reserve, Greg Zuerlein. So Sam Ficken, who had not kicked in an NFL game until 2 weeks ago and missed an extra point that week, settled down a little bit. So everything's going to be an adventure here. Able to bank this one through. 13-7, 2.5 to the half. And we'll be back in 30 seconds. PGA Tour live in prime time from Hawaii tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern time on the Golf Channel. You got Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas, Ricky Fowler, Dustin Johnson, all competing for the first victory of 2018. So 13-7. Falcons will get the ball. Falcons will also get the ball to start the second half. Kick comes down to the 3-yard line. Roberts, look out. Good coverage there, taken down at the 10-yard line by Cody Davis. Back we go to the touchdown.
So Jared Goff stands in his first playoff game, delivers a strike for his first playoff touchdown. And then in the stands, Dad gets mauled. There's Jerry Goff. You know all about him, Al.
He played Major League Baseball. He was a backup catcher for a few years. He once had 6 passed balls in one game. And in that game, he had a home run. Great guy. Had a chance to spend some time with him this summer. Fireman now in Northern California.
Finally got that deep breath out there.
Yeah. Ball at the 10-yard line. Tevin Coleman is the running back here. Coleman exploits a nice hole for a gain of 6, and we go to Michelle.
Well, Rams defensive tackle Michael Brockers is questionable with a right knee injury. Now, you saw it happen there. He's currently on the bench area. He's got an ice pack on it. Players have been consoling him now.
Michelle, that would be a big loss. He had half a sack on that play. Ryan to the outside. Jones makes the catch, and that's a first down.
Yep.
And they'll wind the clock here as soon as the ball is ready for play, and that's going to take us to the break. 2 minutes remaining in the opening half in this NFC Wildcard game at the Coliseum. Atlanta 13, Los Angeles 7. Turn to halftime coming up. Marcus Mariota leading the Titans comeback as they upset the Chiefs. Guys will be talking about Andy Reid and trying to win a home playoff game for Kansas City coming up at halftime. From the 23-yard line. Start on the ground. And I tell you what, Mark Barron dumps Freeman. Barron, a one-time safety, #1 pick of Tampa a few years ago. Now a linebacker, second down.
Yeah, Mark Barron has been dealing with some injuries the last few weeks, and we're very happy to have that kind of speed and quickness back in there.
2nd and 6. And Ryan slips and down he goes at the 16-yard line. This is a new field. They put this field in after SC UCLA, and Ryan reaching for his jaw. Seen a couple of guys slip tonight. Gurley earlier on a run. Ryan here, and the timeout is going to be taken by the Rams with 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, and we have seen at least 5 or 6 times, and he's lucky he didn't get severely hurt there. And then Quinn, I think it was his knee, came around and sort of caught him in the jaw. You just wonder, would the officials go over and make sure that he's okay? Doesn't look like he's blurry-eyed or anything, but definitely took a shot in the back of that helmet.
Well, you have the medicos on the sideline, and they're looking at the replay as well. If they spot something, and they don't, at least for the moment. 10-yard sack. It'll be 3rd down and 16.
And a huge opportunity right now for the Rams.
So with 2 deep here in the secondary, Ryan slipping away, and he's going to go down again at the 13-yard line. That's Morgan Fox, and he's taking the place of Brockers with Brockers on the bench. Connor Barwin helped out as well. 4th and 20, and the Rams can take another timeout.
Yeah, this is the old pick tough right here. So you're going to end up coming out in there and then making a loop as this guy loops around. And that direct line that time by Morgan Fox, really all he was doing was setting up his teammate's stunt. But he hit Schrader so hard, and Schrader wasn't expecting it, that he ends up with a sack.
So the Falcons were hopeful of a 2-for-1, meaning they were going to get the ball to start the second half, hoping for a drive to end the half, and instead the Rams are going to get the ball with about 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, they may get a 2-for-1 here at the end of the half. That's big, boy. When you get a backup come in the ball game and make a play like that, makes you feel a whole lot better going in at halftime.
Well, the whole feel of the game has shifted in the last few minutes as Bosher now. Oh, almost blocked. Ekman almost blocked it. You got a flag. Meanwhile, you got Cooper And he gets bounced down, hard hit at the 40-yard line by KZ, who's been all over the joint tonight. And we'll get Hochul's call in a moment. It was 4th and 19. See the mark on the back of the ear of Matt Ryan. Here's Ed.
During the punt, holding by the receiving team, number 58. That's a 10-yard penalty enforced from the end of the kick. First down.
Almost blocked.
Good look, Sam.
The boot cam comes in.
Whoa.
Close.
That it was, but that was also a huge penalty. And so far, we have to at least make the point that the special teams of the Atlanta Falcons have had a tremendous first half. Keith Armstrong's squad have really gotten it done, where if you would have predicted it going in here, you would have thought the Rams would have had the edge with special teams.
Well, that was a 60-yard punt, no return, plus the penalty. So the Rams are backed up to the 14, and Goff will throw over the middle, and that's caught by Kupp for a short gain as we tick down to a minute. Deion Jones makes the tackle. 2nd and 5.
Yeah, the Rams have so much momentum on their side.
Meanwhile, Ryan is in the medical tent, so they're going to check him out. What was that? Ooh, man.
It's like the old rabbit punch, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Look at this.
So, an injury to insult here as he lost his
There's
footing. Yeah, right there.
The thigh pad right into the back of the helmet and pressed that head forward, and the most important medical examination going on for the Atlanta Falcons happening right now inside that tent.
Their backup is the 14-year veteran Matt Schaub. That pass is caught out to the 30-yard line goes Cooper Kupp, and the Rams are out of timeouts. A minute. First down.
They're not backing down, though, are they?
Mm-mm.
They're not settling for anything here.
On the 31-yard line, 4-man rush. Swing it to the outside. That'll stop the clock. Robert Woods makes the catch. Gain of 8. Trufant stops him. 2nd down and 2 with 48 seconds.
You know, Al, one of the things I'll say about getting into the no-huddle offense, as a player, you start reacting. You stop thinking. You start going, okay, we're just playing football out here and having some fun. And I tell you, those last couple of throws right there by Jared Goff, those are rock solid. He looks like he's very much in control, settled down, settled into the game, and looking sharp.
Started ice cold, but now he's 9 of 17 for 89 yards. It's 2nd down and 2. Goff fires to the outside, and you got action going on here, and you got a flag going down as Cleety Ray Wilson and Gerald Everett, the tight end, got locked up. It's going to go against the Falcons.
Everybody's slipping out here on this field right now. Adrian Claiborne coming around the edge, he slipped.
Before the pass was thrown, holding, defense.
Number 33, Ed.
You know, sometimes this happens in the Super Bowl, too, when they put in new fields and try and make it faster and perfect, and the cleats just won't hold up.
Correction. The pass was in the air at the time. Is therefore pass interference by the defense. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
All right, we finally got it right. I mentioned before that they had a new field put in here after the college season ended when SC played UCLA. This is SC's
hard, and it was fast, and apparently at this time of night there's some moisture in the air and it's slick right now.
Deep downfield, and reaching for it and hauling it in is Robert Woods. At the 7-yard line, they race to the line of scrimmage with the clock still running. No timeouts for him. Gain of 38 to the former Buffalo Bill. from the 7-yard line with 22 seconds, and Goff will just clock it here to make it second down.
Before the ball was snapped, we will review the ruling on the field.
All right. So they were trying to get it off before they reviewed it. Within 2 minutes, there's no challenge. It's all looked at in New York. Take a look again.
McVay saying, what? What? Oh, boy. I didn't see any movement. I guess they're arguing whether the point of the ball hit the ground, but that doesn't matter if you have it under control.
Exactly. If you control it, the point of the ball on the grass, looks like he has it all the way.
Yeah. That was one of those interesting plays there. They had one of the receivers that side fake like it was going to be a quick screen that way, sucked the safety up, and enabled Woods to go right past the best corner on that team, Desmond Trufant. Boy, I tell you, that young man right there has stunned a lot of people. Everybody talked about Sammy Watkins, right? They make that deal. Sammy Watkins, oh, by the way, along with the fact that Sammy Watkins is coming over, we get Robert Woods, and nobody's excited about that at all.
We think this will stand.
The ruling in the field stands as called. Pass is caught.
They had 2 more seconds on the clock, Ed, because it was 22. Now it's 20. And they don't add it. 7 straight completions for Goff. And the ball is at the 7-yard line. So the Rams hopeful of taking the lead. They wind the clock. And Goff will throw. And behind Gurley, and he makes the catch at the 3, but they got to get up to the line of scrimmage. Now what are they going to do? It's second down and goal. You almost have to try to get in the end zone here.
Got at least spiking that field goal.
I was thinking of either the end zone, because that would stop the clock on an incompletion, or you get the touchdown. Now they're going to probably, maybe, we'll see, settle for a field goal attempt.
Yeah, did everybody get set? Because remember, the clock's running, so if there were any kind of penalty on the offense.
Number 97 of the defense was offside. He never made it back onside. That foul, therefore, stops the clock before the ball was snapped. There should be 5 seconds on the clock. It is first down.
And was this a catch to begin with? I don't know. You know, again, we go back to what's a catch, what's not a catch.
So definitely not there, but he's got it back under control, and then it comes loose.
So now you got the officials stopping the game. Maybe they want to look at this. Like at this point,
we will review the ruling on the field.
That's a bizarre play.
Yeah, it is.
Since the legal stop had not yet occurred, we can review the prior catch.
Man, oh man.
Thank goodness we have a lawyer out there as the referee tonight.
You know the greatest thing about the National Hockey League? The last 2 minutes take about 2 minutes.
Is that right?
Well, yeah.
I never heard of a sport like that.
Doc Rivers, who's here tonight, I said to Doc at one point, I said, the NBA, you got 18,000 timeouts. In the NFL, now you got this going on.
But you're in LA doing a football game. How good is your life right now?
Well, mileage is 49 cents a mile.
All right, let's take a look. This thing is under control there, you would have to say. Now it's going to hit the ground, and it's going to move from there and be loose. That one probably is going to be incomplete.
I think so. They're going to overturn this, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
By the way, are you able to survive the ground? When did that term start?
I don't know. I've never survived the ground.
As long as we survive on this side of the deep divot, we're okay.
Wow. What a turnaround in this game, though.
Yeah.
Huh? I mean, it felt like it was all Falcons. You go, the experienced quarterback, all that stuff, and now here come the Rams like they've been doing all season long.
Meanwhile, what about the decision that McVay has to make right here? You got 5 seconds. You've got no timeouts. If it's incomplete, though, they're going to put a bunch of seconds back on the clock. Let's see where it is. It's 15 there.
It's an odd circumstance where you're actually cheering for this to be an incomplete pass if you're the Rams.
The review was of the prior play before the offside by the defense. There was no snap, legal snap, because the offside preceded the snap. We reviewed the prior play that was ruled complete on the field. It was an incomplete pass. It is therefore second down on the 7-yard line, and there are 14 seconds on the clock.
There you go. The Rams and Sean McVay cheering for an incomplete pass. Much better.
Much, much better. Boy, I wonder what he would have done with 5 seconds.
I think he would have taken a shot. We know him. I mean, this guy, he thinks he can do everything.
Right. Meanwhile, there's Ryan. Apparently has cleared the protocol on the sideline.
You know, Al, this is the situation here with Sammy Watkins has some of the strongest hands I've seen this year, and he really has the ability to extend his hands down around the goal line and hold on to the ball. Sometimes he doesn't even pull it into his body. His hands are so strong. Let's see if they try and get that one-on-one matchup. I think if Watkins stays one-on-one, they'll get it that way, but they do have a safety rolled over there.
Hasn't made a catch tonight. He's set to the right. Goff looks toward the middle. Flag. Fires incomplete. Tried to get it to Sammy Watkins. 8 seconds pending the penalty.
Yeah, the Falcons knew exactly what they were thinking with Sammy Watkins and got help to him.
Holding offense number 79. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat second down.
Rob Havenstein, the right tackle.
Now, this is only about the 20th time I've said this year, but when the quarterback starts scrambling to the outside, offensive linemen hold, right? And they can now, I guess it's legal to wrap your arms around somebody. But when that quarterback starts to move out this way, then the officials can very clearly see that grab, and that's what ends up being called because he's being pulled away from where the quarterback's going.
So now Sam Ficken was working as an intern at a brokerage in Connecticut 3 weeks ago. Rams signed him when Zerline got hurt. This is a 35-yard attempt, and the kick is good. So they do come away with points. 3 seconds. 13-10. Let's go to Michelle.
Well, you mentioned that Ficken was working for a brokerage firm. He was at work when he got the call that he was going to need to fly to LA for a tryout. He barely made his flight. And the next morning he learned there were going to be 12 guys trying out. That's a large group, he told me. They were divided into 2, and he was the first and didn't get to see the second group as he was shuffled off for lunch. He felt good about the way he kicked, and sure enough, special teams coach John Fossil and GM Les Snead told him he was their guy. Quite a week, given that he had just passed Al his Series 57 test to earn one of his finance licenses.
Michelle, this would have been a very good week to work in a brokerage. Third player, 2 or fewer field goals in the regular season. Randy Clay back in 1950, Mike Bragg in the 70s. So it's 13-10.
You know, it's interesting that they did not try one more play there. I don't think they wanted to risk another bad thing happening. Take those 3 points. Let's get out of here. We feel pretty good about how we're playing.
And Pippen will put that through the end zone, and most likely we'll see a kneel down. So what do you think, big boy? What are we expecting in the second half here? Tell me.
You know,
tell me.
What I'm seeing is this young team looking very nervous, talking about the Rams, looking very nervous for the first quarter of this game. And then we saw Todd Gurley break off a run. We saw him getting a hurry-up offense, and Jared Goff started looking good. Their big play guys started making plays down the field. We saw Robert Woods make a play, Cooper Kupp. I'd feel pretty good about where I was right now if I were Sean McVay.
He was down by 13. He's now down by only 3. We come to the half. 13-10 Atlanta coming up next. Toyota halftime right after these messages from your NBC station.
Want to stay up to date? Hey Siri, show me football scores. Tonight's first half highlights are brought to you by Chevrolet.
Cooper loses the ball, and it's going to be Atlanta's ball. So Farrell Cooper has been involved in 2 turnovers in the first quarter. Give it to Freeman, and he's going to bust his way as he leans and gets in behind Alex Mack. Throw to the end zone, and it's hauled in by Cooper Kupp. Touchdown.
Chevy has earned J.D. Power Dependability Awards for cars, trucks, and SUVs.
And back we come to Los Angeles as you look at downtown. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. NFC Wildcard playoff game. Atlanta leads by 3. Matt Ryan, 11 of 16 for 86 yards. Julio Jones has 44 of those. Jared Goff started ice cold, but since then, 7 of his last 8 for 92, and that touchdown pass to Kupp. Big story, of course, special teams, 10 points off 2 turnovers, so they're able to cash in, touchdown field goal. Rams' first 4 drives, nothing. Last 2 drives, a different story.
And really, for me, Aaron Donald was the story of the first half. This guy's got 10 pressures and 20 passes. He has just dominated up front and has forced Ryan to throw the ball sooner than he would like. Any time that we have seen Matt Ryan hold the ball in this game, he's paid a price.
Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. We start the second half at the Coliseum. The kickoff, Andre Roberts, a yard in. And good initial open field tackle. And then the assist there, Cody Davis first to hit him. We go to Michelle.
Well, I talked to Dan Quinn at halftime, asked him about the field conditions. He's not concerned about him. He said his offensive coordinator, Steve Sarkisian, who used to be the head coach at USC, knows this field, knew it could get slick, and so they prepared for that. So now them starting with the ball, he wants to see them run the ball, continue to run it effectively, and get some play action off of that. As for Sean McVay, he told me that Michael Brockers, as defensive tackle, is still questionable. They're running tests. Morgan Fox needs to step up, and he likes his defensive rotation. Guys?
All right, thank you, Michelle. Keep you updated on that, on Rocker's health. To the outside goes Freeman. 4 yard, maybe 2. Hill forced him out of bounds.
Well, Aaron Donald has just been sensational and dominant in this game. He has been working. They've tried to give him help on multiple occasions, but he continues to push this offensive line back, and it's just been a nightmare all night long for Matt Ryan. Even when he doesn't get there, it is his pressure that is forcing Ryan to step up and through and do things he doesn't want to do.
So Ryan, who spent a few minutes in the medical tent, none the worse for wear. Easy for us to say. Second down and 9 from the 17-yard line. They give it to Freeman again, and he's able to burst through and take it all the way out to the 40-yard line before LaMarcus Joyner finally hauls him down after a gain of 22 yards.
Well, there's some of the quickness of Alex Mack that we talked about, one of the best centers in football, and watch him jump out here and make this block to where there's no issue whatsoever. Sets that edge hard, and then a nice block on the inside by Derek Coleman. So maybe it is the fullback package that will get this running game started, because they have not done much running the football so far.
Freeman 10 carries for 42 yards. Ryan sidearms it, and incomplete, intended for Jones. Down goes Matt. Second down and 10.
All right there. Watch the hands one more time. The best hand fighter, I think, in football. He just has a way of figuring out a way to get his hands up and under. He's not a very big guy at all. He's like 6 feet tall and a little bit of a bowling ball kind of guy, but he always uses that lower leverage to win it.
Worked right through Schweitzer with his hand on his face mask. Second down and 10. And this time it's Tevin Coleman, and he gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage. It's funny, Chris, the problem with the Rams defense, if there has been one this year, they're pretty good in points allowed. They're better than they were in a lot of categories last year, was the run, stopping the run.
Yeah, and honestly, it was a bit of a problem for the Falcons this year as well. But we just saw Ethan Westbrook make another big play in there. And they are not very deep along that defensive line. We'll have to keep an eye and see if they get worn down. They already lost Matt Longacre, and now Brockers in and out. So tough.
3rd and 9. Little flare pass. Breaking a tackle and picking up a first down in Rams territory is Coleman, who was able to scoot away and avoid what would have been a 4th down, and a nice run there for 14.
Well, that was a great call, because now they're going to use that stunt back inside against them on the screen pass. They loop back to the inside, and then Ogletree just missed a huge tackle to keep it alive.
In the 45 without a huddle here. A hard yard and a flag. Might have been 12 guys on the field for the Rams. They had Hockley. I think Ethan Westbrooks was trying to get off the field.
Obviously, if the Falcons don't substitute and the Rams try.
There were 2 fouls by the defense. 12 men in the field. That plenty has declined. There was also offside. Number 93, that's accepted. 5 yards. Repeat first down.
So that'll make it 1st down and 5. Michael Brockers is now ruled out officially.
They may want to think about hurrying up the pace here, Matt Ryan. If you know they're thin on the defensive line, don't allow the substitution, and maybe that's the strategy here.
1st down and 5. And the ball off to Freeman. Busts a tackle and gets taken down after a 1st down. So the Falcons starting to break tackles on this drive. And that's a gain right there of 11 yards and a 1st down.
What a run this is. Troy Hill is going to come up to make the play, and he almost gets destroyed. Devontae Freeman able to maintain his balance, and they are going to this quicker pace.
At the 30-yard line on the opening drive of the 2nd half.
So tough on these defensive linemen who are used to being substituted for. If they get trapped on the field for 5, 6, 7 plays, they really get worn out.
Threading his way, 4-yard gain. Devontae Freeman stopped there by Connor Barwin, former Eagle. Speaking of the Eagles, next week, if Atlanta wins this game, they go to Philadelphia next Saturday. If the Rams win this game, they go to Minnesota next Sunday. Sean McVay won't turn 32. Grandfather John McVay, longtime executive of the 49ers, and for 2.5 years the head coach of the New York Giants back in the 70s. 2nd down and 6. To the outside. A good run here for Devontae Freeman, exploiting some holes. Fox makes the tackle. 3rd and 1.
You know, Al, what we're seeing now is that the Rams are trying to take away that running game by going to this reduced look in here with 3 linemen in tight, and so the Falcons are countering that. Another good block that time by Alex Mack, by going to that outside zone part of their game and getting the quick Devontae Freeman on the edge.
Come up in the gun on a 3rd and 1. Tevin Coleman is in the backfield. Hand it to him, and he's going to get stuffed, I think, a little bit short of the 1st down. Morgan Fox is there, the guy taking Brocker's spot. So now Dan Quinn, what are you going to do on 4th down and a half a yard?
Probably going to ask for a measurement.
Well, no, they're going to come up to the line of scrimmage right off the bat, 4th and inches, and Ryan's going to try to shoulder and angle his way for a 1st down, and he will have it. 1st down. So
nice
no
job.
hesitation in terms of making that decision.
And his new left guard, watch Ben Garland over here, going to go down, get underneath Aaron Donald on that one. And so the guy who's so used to winning with his lower leverage, Aaron Donald, that time Ben Garland, the backup left guard, got it done.
9th play of the drive. Coleman is the back. With a good run here, picking up 4, 5, 6 yards at a clip. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
You know, one of the guys that we haven't talked about, Al, is Levine Toilolo, who is their other tight end who's been out with an injury for the last few games, a knee injury. But on the backside of that play, you saw him completely wash down that side. His blocking has been sorely missed, and now he's starting to have an impact on the game, especially this run game.
2nd down and 5. Coleman. And he bursts through the right side for a first down. Tackle there by Ogletree. So the two backs can both run, can both catch. Take a look at that. 196 carries for Freeman, 156 for Coleman, 36 catches for Freeman, 27 for Coleman. So they're both very effective. And of course, what it does is enables you to rest the other guy when the other guy is in.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the defensive line is not resting. So now they're starting to go to some of their backups.
Freeman to the outside, runs out of room. Almost winds up in the stands. It'll be 2nd down and goal.
Yeah, Toilolo again with a good block on the edge.
Meanwhile, you got LaMarcus Joyner. Got hurt. He got hurt. There he is.
That is not good. He is a really good player.
So an injury timeout as they work on him. On Super Bowl Sunday, biggest concert of the year, the Pepsi Super Bowl 52 halftime show. And to follow Justin Timberlake on his journey to the world's biggest stage, visit PepsiHalftime.com. Look down the pier in Santa Monica on this Saturday night. Temperature 59 degrees. Blake Countess comes in to replace LaMarcus Joyner. And it's 2nd down and goal from the 9-yard line for the Falcons. Off play action, Jones gets stuffed at the 8-yard line, and that's Countess, who had just come into the game to replace the injured Joyner. It's 3rd down and goal with half the period already gone.
Boy, that was some play right there. You got Julio Jones going across the formation. This run they'd been kicking him with was faked, and they come back the other way, and Blake Countess came down and just made a great open field tackle on one of the best players in the NFL.
So can the Falcons turn it into a 2-possession game? Joyner is back in the game now on a 3rd down and goal. Nick Williams is in the backfield. First time we've seen him, number 15. He flares out, and Ryan throws, and that's incomplete in the end zone. And no flag, so it's 4th down. Intended for Austin Hooper. So this drive, 13 plays, taking the whole first 8-12 of the second half.
Yeah, you're going to see a little try to get Julio open, but really they had a pretty good look on the backside, and Ryan had to fade away from that one, and Austin Hooper couldn't quite get back to it. They had a corner and then circle back under, and just couldn't plant his feet to make a good, accurate throw.
25-yard attempt for Bryant, who kicked 5 field goals last week. Perfect here with 6:45 to go in the 3rd. Atlanta leading the Rams 16-10 in this wildcard game. Tuesday on NBC, check it out. Ellen's Game of Games coming up Tuesday, 8 Eastern and Pacific, 7 Central Mountain, right here on NBC. Looking down Hollywood Boulevard. Tinseltown on a Saturday night. Good ball game here, 16-10. Back to the Coliseum. 8-minute, 15-second drive that ends with a field goal. And Bosher will send this one down to the 4-yard line. Farrell Cooper past the 20 and spilled as he reaches the 30-yard line. Sean McVay, 31 years old. So you take a look at this guy. You know, one of the things about him, youngest NFL head coach with 11 or more wins in a season since a guy named Curly Lambeau. Perhaps you've heard of him. Maybe someday this will be McVay Field, youngest head coach in the postseason game in the history of the league. Our great pal John Madden was 33 when he won a playoff game back in 1969. So McVay, tremendous job. He'll get a lot of Coach of the Year votes. As Goff goes over the middle, and that is broken up at the 38-yard line by Robert Alford. We talk about McVay. We talk about his grandfather, John McVay, who was a good head coach and a great executive. And he admitted when he was not quite 23 years old. How did he get a job with John Gruden on the Tampa Bay staff? He said, nepotism. My grandfather called. Grandpa's pretty proud.
You know, he was a good player, too. He was a state champion quarterback in high school and then went off to Miami in Ohio, and playing up there, of course, got moved from quarterback to wide receiver. But he followed Ben Roethlisberger. He's younger than Ben Roethlisberger by like 4 years.
Amazing. That's incomplete over the middle. The other thing is he won the Georgia State High School Player of the Year award and beat out Calvin Johnson.
That's amazing.
Incredible.
You know, and I think even Sean was like, is that real? Did that, you know, is that really fair? Because everybody knew what Calvin Johnson was, but that gives you some idea of how good a player Sean McVay was.
Well, he was interviewed by Kevin Demoff and by Les Snead, the GM. They brought him to Stan Kroenke, and Stan was, is he too young? And they said, hey, if we don't hire him now, in 2 years, he won't be available. He's going someplace else.
Right, and they actually brought Jared Goff in to meet him as well. He was part of the process.
3rd and 10, Goff.
I love what he's doing.
Throwing, and that is somehow caught by Woods. What a grab. Robert Woods covered well, reaches up, stays in bounds, hauls it in, gain of 25.
My goodness, what a throw by Jared Goff. Watch him stand in the pocket, 2 hands on the football. He had a little trouble fumbling before, off balance, and throws a ball that has about a 1-inch area that could have been completed. That was the best play of the night right there by Jared Goff.
Trufant with the coverage, couldn't swat it away. Woods now has 105 receiving yards. The ball was at the 49-yard line. With the Gurley to the outside he goes. Gain of about 3.
Well, here we go, Jared Goff. Let's take a look at some of the things he's been doing. Here's the tracer we love to do. That's about as tight as you can do it. The classic over-the-top reverse C motion there that they look for. Really a high release point. Doesn't get a lot of balls deflected. There's a reason they traded up 15 spots to get him.
Goff fires to the outside, and that's incomplete, intended for Woods, and that time Trufant got the better of him. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
And there's a reason why the Desmond Trufant was sorely missed in those playoffs. You just have to wonder what might have happened in that Super Bowl if they had their best corner. Watch Desmond Trufant at the top here. Break on the ball, sees the quarterback, drives, makes that play. He is a huge difference maker, especially when you can combine him with the growth of what we've seen out of Robert Alford. Keanu Neal, of course, the run stuffer in there in that classic Seattle kind of defense. And Ricardo Allen, the center fielder.
Farrell Cooper is in the game. They give, and then Gurley drops it. So trying to set up the screen. Didn't look like it was going to work anyway. And he dropped it, 4th down.
He dropped it, and if he didn't, Deion Jones is going to take his head off. Deion Jones is flying around the field. Watch this guy run. He is diagnosing. He is the Mike linebacker right now, and he is a guy that has really taken over the leadership role of the Atlanta Falcons. He is just going to get better and better.
So Hecker looked like he was surprised by the snap, but he does get it away. Short kick, fair caught, 19-yard line. Meanwhile, Gurley with 2 drops. Tonight he had only 1 during the regular season, 16-10. Here's tonight's best fun fact. 1994, the William & Mary football team. Mike Tomlin was a player. Dan Quinn was a graduate assistant. Sean McDermott was on that team. You got 3 guys who are all in the playoffs out of Williamsburg, Virginia. William & Mary.
Pretty good ones, too.
Boy, I'll say.
Think those people in Buffalo are anywhere near excited right now? They may all be in Jacksonville.
You get the feeling. The reverse roll by Ryan. The pass is low. The pass is incomplete. Intended for Hooper. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Dan Quinn. So he was a hot commodity when he was the defensive coordinator of Seattle. Had a number of interviews and then goes to Atlanta. So defense is his pedigree. And then he brings Kyle Shanahan in for a couple of seasons, and that worked out great for him. This year he's got Sarkisian, but a guy who, as we said before, has been to 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls. And he's seen it all, hasn't he?
He has. About as upbeat a personality as you'll ever meet, too.
Two of the most crushing Super Bowl losses in one win. And here's Jones. Quick slant over the middle and a first down out to the 31-yard line. John Johnson, the rookie, makes the stop.
Boy, Alex Mack just saved his quarterback. Watch this safety, and the center is going to come right back on him and deck him. I mean, if he doesn't get that block, and that's a great job by Matt Ryan as well. You see that safety come out of that zone, throw right into that zone, and make a big play.
Falcons ready to run their 53rd play of the night. 4.5 left in the period. Freeman dives forward to the 35-yard line. Freeman tonight now 15 carries for 64 yards.
Yeah, but most importantly, after that last drive, they had more yards rushing in this half than they did the first half already in just half a quarter. So what the Falcons wanted to do from the beginning was establish a run. They did not in the first half, but they did with that first drive. But they come out with 2 passes early on and now trying to get back to it.
2-to-1 ratio in time of possession. 111 rushing yards to 94 passing yards. And you'll add to that figure here as Jones makes another catch and works his way, pulls his way out to the 50-yard line. Gain of 16 yards.
Well, you just forget how big Julio Jones is until you walk next to him on the field down there. And he's struggled with a few injuries here and there this season, but it has been Julio Jones and Antonio Brown for the last 3 or 4 years that has just dominated the wide receiver position. And if you're a Rams fan and hope he's going to be out, forget about it. He does that all the time.
Taylor Gabriel is in there. He came out with a hamstring pull last week. And it's a good run here by Tevin Coleman, a gain of 6, 2nd down and 4. Working the outside.
They are. They're just working that outside zone. That is what they're doing. The primary, and Julio said, yeah, thanks a lot. I'm good. Let's go.
Refreshment, figures to be back in a play or two. Put the fullback, Derek Coleman, in the game in front of Tevin Coleman.
Yeah, and you see Matt Ryan turn around. Derek Coleman is legally deaf. He has to talk directly to him to make that audible.
And this is Tevin Coleman getting to the 40-yard line where Morgan Fox makes the tackle.
It's pretty remarkable, isn't it, that somebody who's legally deaf and can make those kinds of plays. Watch Matt Ryan. He's going to turn all the way around and talk to him so that he can see his lips and actually get that call. I played with a guy, Yancey Sutton, in college that was deaf as well. He once read the lips that it was going to be a fake punt, started screaming it out for our defense, and they stopped the play.
What position did he play?
Outside linebacker.
Beautiful. Play fake in the roll, and then it's caught, and then slipping again is Justin Hardy, makes his first catch of the night. This wildcard playoff game brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. By Sprint, works for me. By Volkswagen, why settle for an SUV when you can have an SUVW? And by TurboTax, there is nothing to be afraid of. Coliseum, well, you saw the World Series. The Dodgers played here. When they moved from Brooklyn, they played the series here and won it against the White Sox in '59. 2 Super Bowls have been played here. Everything's been played here. The Olympics in '84, coming back in 2028. 2nd and 8. Scooting to the outside is Tevin Coleman. Gain of 1. John Johnson makes the stop. And we're coming down to the last minute of the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, and you're seeing Wade Phillips now sell out to stop the run as well. This John Johnson is a rookie, but he continues to get better and better as that role, that down in the box safety. And I think Wade Phillips has seen enough of this running game. He now is starting to attack down, but now comes that 3rd down passing situation in which Aaron Donald has been the headache all night long.
Ryan, good protection, fires, and it is incomplete. Mohamed Sanu, Troy Hill there to help break it up, and the Rams able to hold. 4th down.
What a huge play that was. Sanu with a little hop, skip, and a jump off the ball, but Hill saw it, went around the backside and made the play. And now here we go with these bomb field goals again.
54 yards on a fairly windless night with a little marine layer coming in here. He made a 56-yarder in a very similar situation last Sunday. Bosher puts it down, and Bryant's kick. This guy is ageless. He is ageless. That was the score last week toward the end of the game against Carolina. A little risky, otherwise you give the other team good field position. Bangs it through, 9-point game. So the night before the Super Bowl, celebrate the NFL's best performances, including the MVP announcement. NFL honors 4 weeks from tonight, Saturday, February the 3rd on NBC. Universal Studios, about 6-7 miles away from here. Great attraction. In fact, we come to the Coliseum, hosting its 20th all-time playoff game, but the first in over 2 decades. Bosher to kick off. Waning seconds of the quarter. And Cooper's going to run it out. From deep in the end zone. Oh, loses the ball again, but they're going to rule it down. Man, oh man, oh man. Well, he's got to be shaken. I mean, wasn't totally his fault on one muff punt. The other was. And now you got this.
Down.
Definitely down.
As everybody breathes again in this stadium.
Man, oh man.
Got to be thinking about it a little bit at this point, aren't you?
You have to. So the Rams only the second possession of the half, and 12 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Down by 9, starting from the 20. Gurley cannot get out of the backfield. What a job they're doing on the run here. Deion Jones, the first there. Lost to about 4. Takes us to the end of the period, and on we go to the 4th. 19-10, end of 3, Atlanta. This wildcard playoff game from LA continues after these messages. And tonight's aerial coverage from Los Angeles being brought to you by Geico. Downtown LA, Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle DeFoya. 15 minutes of regulation remaining. If Atlanta wins, they go on to Philadelphia next Saturday. If the Rams win, they go to Minnesota on Sunday. That's what's at stake. Loser goes home. 15 minutes left in the 4th. They're in regulation, obviously. From the 15-yard line, it's second down and 15 for the Rams. Goff, and he throws it behind Cooper Kupp. 3rd and 15. Goff tonight, 11 out of 25. That's 44%. For 152 yards.
Yeah, and I think that's a misread that time by Jared Goff. You've got Sammy Watkins, who's your fastest guy, one-on-one on the outside, no help at all, running an out route. That's a gimme. And that's when I think over time Jared Goff will begin to figure out when you got those opportunities, could have been a very easy or an easier 3rd and about 3 or 4 there.
3rd and 15. 4-man rush. Goff has to step up to avoid the pressure and then finds the open man, and that's Robert Woods, who's into triple figures in receiving yards tonight for a big first down off a 3rd and 15.
Well, the key to the play is Jared Goff moving around in the pocket because it's going to come right out here, but he had to buy a little time. Here they come with the pressure, shuffles around, off-balance throw, and for the Falcons, that has to make you sick. You've got them 3rd and very long, and you give up that first down to a second-year quarterback.
Only 3 guys have caught passes tonight for the Rams. Woods has 7, Kupp has 4, and Gurley just 1 for 3 yards. Gurley gonna run. Gurley through the left side, and Gurley carrying Falcons with him for a gain of 15 yards.
Great combination inside. John Sullivan, Roger Saffold. Going to be able to get here and here up the field and create that seam. Saffold's such a great athlete in the open field, so good on screen passes that really haven't been a factor tonight. We haven't seen anything out of a tremendous screen game of the Rams.
Absolutely. Gurley, that just that one catch for 3 yards. No faster yet. But here he is running again. Left side. There he goes inside the 40, the 30, and all the way down to the 20-yard line behind a Roger Saffold block. So 2 big plays for him back-to-back, 33 yards there.
This is fantastic. Watch Saffold right here until Sullivan can get there. Then he goes down the field, and that's what sets this thing up. They get Grady Jarrett, one of the best defensive tackles in the game, but the speed and athleticism of that combination of John Sullivan and Roger Saffold, that was tremendous.
Connor Barwin giving the cheers from the sideline at the 29. Gurley hesitating. Picks up about 3. Gets to the 17-yard line. Todd Gurley, take a look at his year this year. He led the league in scrimmage yards. He led the league in touchdowns. He had 5 more than anybody else. Take a look at that. That's a pretty good group in that convertible, huh? Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, Marcus Allen, and number 30.
The entourage.
Yep, there you go. Gurley comes out for the moment. You got Malcolm Brown coming in, sparingly used backup running back. And Goff is going to get hit. Cocked his arm, brought it back, and Devondre Campbell comes in to sack him. So that makes it 3rd down and 14 on a 7-yard sack.
That was really on Jared Goff. There was a blitz to that side that was unprotected. 3 guys coming against just 2 because your back is scat out of the backfield. So Jared Goff has to realize that he was unblocked.
Well, at the beginning of this drive, they converted a 3rd down and 50. Now it's 3rd down and 14. Going to give it to Malcolm Brown, and he's going to take the ball down to the 13-yard line. Interesting call there. Maybe, if nothing else, trying to set up a thick and field goal. And of course, you don't know what you're going to get for a guy playing in his 3rd NFL game, so they want to give him a much better shot. Odd call, though.
Yeah, well, and a little bit of a deception, maybe. You take Todd Gurley out, and you got your backup running back, and nobody's expecting to run there.
So Hecker to hold it, Ficken to kick it. 32-yard attempt to try to make it a 1-possession game again. And he does.
Even you're nervous.
Right. Well, you know, you don't know. You feel for the kid. 1913. This NBC Wildcard playoff brought to you by Verizon, the most awarded network ever. By Applebee's, all-you-can-eat riblets and chicken tenders. By Chevy, Chevy's earned the J.D. Power Dependability Award for cars, trucks, and SUVs. And by Farmers Insurance. Got a crowd of over 74,000 here at the Coliseum. Through the year, you've had a lot of visiting fans. I know when Philadelphia was here, the crowd was about split. But tonight, this crowd is at least 90% Rams, team that was here in the LA area through 1994, 21-year absence, 2nd year back, and that kick is fielded at the 10-yard line, and Andre Roberts steps out of bounds. So in a couple of years, there it is, the construction site in Inglewood near the airport, near the Forum, the old Hollywood Park site, and that's what Stan Kroenke and the gang will build, and the Rams will play there, and the Chargers will play there in the 2020 season. It's going to run pretty close to $3 billion. And I think Jerry Jones told Stan Kroenke, hey, go outdo me. Because Jerry's got the stadium in Arlington, of course, AT&T, and you don't know. I mean, Stan may do it.
I learned the real stadium story down on the field from Kroenke tonight. He said that you shamed him into it.
I told him it's a legacy project. Easy for me to say at $3 billion. Here's Jones, and Jones takes it out to the 30. So the Rams will play here next year and the following year. That'll make 4 years here before they move to their palatial digs.
And then you get used to seeing Super Bowls and championship games, and it was definitely a heavy bet, but one that's going to be spectacular when it gets built.
Yep. Kevin Demoff and Stan Kroenke there. Stan knows what it's like to hoist the Lombardi Trophy. Co-owner of the Rams back in 1999 when they shocked everybody. From the 29, Ryan flaring out, throwing, and then falling down again is Tevin Coleman on that turf. But he's able to get up and turn it in to an 8-yard gain.
Now, as you see the Rams and Wade Phillips starting to deploy the safety, John Johnson, down around the line of scrimmage. Good little counter there by Steve Sarkisian to come out on first down with that bootleg play action. They had the fullback in the game, and it looked like they were just going to try and pound it again. That's a good drive starter.
Steve Sarkisian, first year as the OC here, calling the plays. 2nd down and 2 from the 37. To the left side, trying to get around the corner and slipping and unable to do it, and then slipping into the bench is Tevin Coleman. So it's going to be 3rd down and 3 with the clock down to 9:18 and counting.
Well, if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, you know the memory is still very real from the Super Bowl. They had a big lead in this game. They're trying to hold on to this one. Just from a franchise standpoint, there is a certain significance to finishing this game on top.
And a big play coming up here. 3rd down and 3 under 9 minutes in regulation. Play clock at 3. Snap it at 1. Ryan fires, and it's going to be caught up at the 40-yard line by Hooper. So he buys time, drifts out. Joyner makes the tackle. 1st down.
It's a great job by Matt Ryan. Just a 3-man rush, so he knows he has time. So if he moves around, buys a little time, pump fakes, move the defenders, just enough for that huge 1st down.
And big because it's going to take a lot more time off the clock now. New set of downs. Keeps on rolling down to 8 minutes. Freeman is the back. Coleman is the fullback. Freeman, he's going to get wrapped up and thrown down by Aaron Donald in the backfield. And that's why a lot of people think he's the best interior lineman in the league.
Oh my goodness, he just is wearing people out up front. Just penetration straight up the field. Drive Garland back into the backfield and then make a tackle. We talk about him so much as a pass rusher, but his speed and quickness and strength against the run game, just so significant. He may well be the defensive player of the year this year.
3-yard tackle for loss. 7.5 to go on 2nd and 13. Blitz coming to the outside they go. They pick up blocking. That's Sanu, Mohamed Sanu, off to the races he goes, and he will get tackled at the 10-yard line by Joyner. Huge play for the Falcons. 52 yards, beautifully designed.
Give a little credit to Schweitzer coming out here. Everybody's going to block out that way as Sanu comes back inside. But it was Wes Schweitzer who got out in front of it, created just enough of a distraction to send this one to the races. Sometimes you got to dip down and go a little Kent to Colby, don't you, Al?
A little sidearm action. Dan Quisenberry, Don Drysdale. 1st and goal from the 10. Raymond, can you get around the corner? Not very far. 8-2, 2nd down and goal.
Well, it's sort of an interesting situation here now. Of course, the Falcons in the Super Bowl, you can remember they were unable to get that one field goal that could have stretched that one out to a 2-score game after a few mistakes. So you don't want to make a big mistake here, but at the same time, you want to stay aggressive.
They're looking at that clock.
They may go run here. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
2nd down and goal. They'll go play action, and that pass is going to be hauled in by Jones for a touchdown. A floater, and he's able to make the catch. Into the end zone he goes to the touchdown.
Boy, that's one of those throws. You better not underthrow that floater. Watch what Matt Ryan does with this lollipop. do it, and he just buys Julio a little time, and there was John Johnson out there. A gutsy call, a gutsy throw.
Very much.
Woo!
Back foot was sliding on the grass. Got hit as he throws. And Bryant tries to tack on point number 26.
Steve Sarkisian said, I ain't afraid of no ghost.
It's a direct quote, I think, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Bryant for the point after. Asher puts it down. There's point number 26. You have 5:48 coming down the stretch. The big play to Sanu, the touchdown to Jones, and it's 26-13 Atlanta. On Super Bowl Sunday, biggest concert of the year, the Pepsi Super Bowl 52 halftime show. And to follow Justin Timberlake on his journey to the world's biggest stage, visit PepsiHalftime.com. So a 13-point game. Farrell Cooper back to receive the kickoff as Bosher sends it down to the 3-yard line. Cooper he runs out of room, and not much of a run back, and we go back to the touchdown.
Take a look at Matt Ryan off this read option kind of fake. Watch his back foot slip just a little, and that thing comes floating out over the top. Pretty amazing throw to realize that you are now off balance and have to put a little bit more on this thing to get it up and over. Whew. That was some play.
And a red zone touchdown for Julio Jones, which are few and far between.
Well, and they're over that threshold number, aren't they, when they scored 20 or more, undefeated.
Up by 13. Rams trying to get something going here. Cooper Kupp is up to the 36-yard line, and they're going to have to go quickly. In the Rams, only 3 guys have caught passes tonight. Kupp's 5th right there. Woods has caught 7, and Gurley just 1 for a team that relies so much on a screen game. Throw is a little bit low here and incomplete. You know, the thing that we haven't mentioned is that Gurley leads the league in yards after the catch by over 100 yards. But tonight, nothing.
It has been, I mean, you got to give credit to the Atlanta Falcons and their defense. It's one of the things that Marquand Manuel felt really good about, the ability of his linebackers to play pass defense against Todd Gurley. And so far, the entire team has done a nice job of taking that part of their game away.
2nd and 10. Oh, there's action on the right side right there.
Ball
Woods.
start offense, number 17. 5-yard penalty. It's 2nd down.
It's 2nd and 15 now.
Yeah, good thought that time by Jared Goff. Go hard count, try and shorten the distance a bit. He did severely underthrow that last throw, so mistakes now, and they have to go for it all the way out here. They need 2 touchdowns here to get back in this thing.
Over 5 minutes to play. Goff to the outside. That's caught by the tight end. That's Higbee, and Higbee staying inbounds. Flag comes in as he takes it for the moment to the 45-yard line.
Yeah, that is an illegal block coming back towards his own goal line, and that is a killer.
Woods, huh? Well,
watch Woods come back, and when you're going back towards your own goal line, not towards the head and neck area, oh my goodness.
Well, that's back-to-back penalties on Woods. You had the false start.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness offense. Number 17. It was a blindside block. 15 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat 2nd down.
And 4 different officials threw flags, and Woods caught one of them.
So 15 from the spot of the foul. It had been 2nd down and 15. It remains 2nd down. And yeah,
the receiver.
Yeah, right.
But he knew.
Good hands.
You know, he knew. It's so hard on those blindside blocks not to take that shot, you know, because you know that guy's not seeing you, but it's the exact reason they put the rule in to protect the players.
So now you got a 2nd and 19. Have to get the ball to the 46 for a first down. Fires, finds the open man, and finally Sammy Watkins makes the catch, and a big one here as he spins the ball away to the 50-yard line. First down.
Yeah, I've been wondering where that play has been. That has been a really strong part of this offense, those dig routes on the outside with Watkins.
Goff on the sideline, caught. Woods. That's confirmed by the official right there for the Rams. Gave him a little bit of assistance on the call. First down. Making sure he's in. Left foot's in. Right foot sliding. Control. From that angle, yes.
This is the second time now we've seen him go to this spread hurry-up offense and have it be effective.
37-yard line. Catch is made here by Cooper Kupp. Short gain to the 32. Deion Jones. Clock down to 4:20. 2nd and 5. The outside again, and that's short of the first down. He goes to Gerald Everett, number 2 pick out of South Alabama, a rookie.
And they wind the clock because he got knocked backwards, so they called him down forward progress, and so he does not get credit for being out of bounds.
Does not. Clock keeps running. Give it to Gurley. He goes to the middle. He takes the ball to the 20-yard line. So now a first down.
You know, I like this look because it's creating openings in there for the running game and Todd Gurley.
Gurley now 101 yards on the ground, 33 big ones earlier. And the catch is made here, but he gets taken down right away by Brian Poole from the tackle machine tonight. 2nd down.
He's been fantastic, and you have to say that one of their goals was to tackle exactly the way Brian Poole's been tackling all night.
2nd and 7 to the outside. Gurley makes the catch, but he had to reach back for it. There's no chance to get any more yardage. Neal is there, down to 3 minutes, and they got a 3rd and 7.
And Gurley's exhausted. You can tell by the way he's moving out there. That is not the same explosive kind of route running we've seen.
3rd and 7, caught, but short of the first down is Cooper Kupp. Now you got 4th down. You got 4th and 2.
No choice.
Yep. They don't want to use the timeout here. They have 3. You got the 2-minute warning.
Might run Gurley here, though. You might get a cheap one.
He's exhausted, but we'll see. And that is struggle. Does he stay in bounds? Robert Woods, and he does. He makes the catch. He has the first down. He's out of bounds and has control before he steps out, we think.
Let's see. Nope, nope, nope. Yeah, there.
And they run it before a challenge, and now you go to the outside, and you've got Kupp trying to get out of bounds, and he does with 2:22 and a 1st and goal. Now it's 2nd down and goal.
That was really close.
And now you got a fan out on the field, so that's the reason for the stoppage here.
Catch or no catch. Let's see. Can't tell if one of the legs or one of the feet were off the ground by the time he finally there. Was that left leg off the ground? I guess it doesn't matter at this point.
No, they ran it the next play. You could have challenged conceivably. Looks like it would have stood. And they got a 2nd down and goal. And since the play was out of bounds, you heard Hockley say the clock starts on the snap. It's 2nd down and goal.
But you've got Gurley out of the game now and Brown in.
Goff floats one too far for Robert Woods. Covered there by Keanu Neal. 2:16, 3rd down and goal.
Yeah, a big story of this game when it's written tomorrow is going to be about these cornerbacks and safeties of the Atlanta Falcons. They were really good a week ago. They've been really good tonight under a lot of pressure because they had to leave Neal down to help in the run all night long. And these corners have given up a few, but not many.
Did a great job on Cam Newton last week. Malcolm Brown splits wide to the left to go 5 wide here on a 3rd down and goal. And Goff fires, and that is pulled in for the touchdown. Tyler Higbee, the tight end.
How about Tyler Higbee?
How about that drive? 15 plays. Does he catch it here? They're going to take a look at this. All scoring plays reviewed.
That's incomplete. Oh boy.
And the crowd is now also
we will review the
this.
ruling on the field.
Yeah, I don't even think that's particularly close. Do you?
No. I know Jesse James is not looking on in Pittsburgh. He's vomiting. So an official review here. So would be, well, it's going to be, if it gets overturned, it's going to be 4th down and goal. So Neal gets his arm in.
Yeah, got to give him credit. He's the one that dug it out of there.
Yep.
Such a big factor in the run game tonight, but there he is on the tight end making that play, and Julio said, that is not a catch.
Yep. Figures to be, well, incomplete. Matt Ryan so signals. And the Rams will have to come up. They have plenty of time to discuss this play right now, because they have to know it's going to be overturned. It'll be 4th down. Then Hockley takes the specs off.
The ball came out and hit the ground. It was therefore an incomplete pass. It's 4th down on the 5-yard line. The clock remains the same.
So 2:11. Again, you've got the 2-minute warning. You've got 3 timeouts. But obviously a huge play here. Gurley back in the game. Give him a little time to rest.
Almost every time, we talked about it earlier, that Watkins gets a one-on-one in this situation, they throw the slant. I'm going to guess Dan Quinn does not give him that opportunity. Nope, he's down inside in the bunch.
Yeah, he's in the bunch. He's the front man in that bunch. Number 12. And you got Goff. And Goff looking and throwing, and it is not caught. Is there a flag? There is no flag. Deion Jones breaks it up, intended for Sammy Watkins, and Atlanta will take over. 2:05 left in the 4th. Falcons trying to win a trip to Philadelphia. Deion Jones covering on the play, breaking it up. Meanwhile, you got the ball at the 5-yard line. Atlanta with a 1st down and about a 3-yard gain here, and that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. So it's going to be 2nd down and 7. Here at the 2-minute warning, the Rams will have 3 timeouts, which they'll have to use on defense when we come back to the Coliseum. 26-13 Atlanta. Volkswagen post-game report right after the game. A show on the field with a star of the game. Liam McHugh is here to break down the playoff brackets, and Chris and I will take a look ahead to tomorrow's 2 wildcard matchups. LA on the Saturday night, temperature right now 58 degrees. One Julio Jones, 9 catches for 94 yards and a touchdown. Meanwhile, 2nd down and 7. Kevin Coleman is the back, and he will be stopped up at the 12, and the Rams will have to use a timeout here, which they will, before a 3rd down and 3. Let's go back to that 4th down play in the end zone.
Yeah, there's always a question. Do the officials let them play a little more in the playoffs? Take a look at this play by Deion Jones. He's going to wrap his arms around Sammy Watkins. I don't think there's any way that's not called a hold. So is it a matter of them letting them play a little more? Did they just miss the call? But certainly a huge play. That would have been not pass interference, but holding and an automatic 1st down, and the Rams would have had another chance.
At the 2-yard line.
But you see it all the time, Al, that in the toughest and the biggest moments of the game, defensive players are basically taught be a little more aggressive because the officials don't want to decide the game.
So it's 3rd down and 3, and now they put Poe in the backfield and give it to Coleman. He'll get stopped, and the Rams will take their 2nd timeout. So they're going to get the ball back. They'll have 1 timeout. Putting a couple of more seconds on the clock to make it 1:53. And Bosher will come into the game. So Cooper, who's had a night to forget, well, he can rip one off here. That would change things around a little bit, but right now you wonder about his confidence.
Wish you would have a shot. You could score here. At least you have a chance for the onside kick and a couple of Hail Marys.
Right.
If you ever had a punt block.
The Rams lining up with 10 guys along the line. Bosher in the end zone. Here they come. Oh man, it was close. Oh man, Cooper all night long gets taken down at the 50-yard line. Almost blocked and almost muffed. It was Carlos Thompson came crashing through. Yep.
Almost got right underneath his arm. I was really debating in my own mind, would you consider taking the safety there and getting a free kick out of there? There's certainly an argument to be made against that. With it at 11, you could have a 2-point conversion and a field goal instead of 2 scores, but you knew that was going to be dicey getting that kick off.
Maybe they wanted to put it in Cooper's hands. The 49-yard line. Goff going for the end zone, and it is incomplete. You had Watkins back there, covered by Robert Alford. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, and for Sammy Watkins, you can't get any better than this at this point in the game. And for Robert Alford, he's been brilliant all night. Absolutely brilliant, up over the top. I'm not sure he even got his hand on the ball. But Sammy Watkins is so big and so strong, you really kind of hope that he would turn and jump back into Alford at that point, maybe get the pass interference call, use those big strong hands to try and go make a play.
He did none of those. 2nd down and 10. Goff working his way out of the pocket and throws incomplete, stopping the clock with 1:28, 3rd down.
Major disappointment, no other way to say this, for the Rams offense tonight. This is an Atlanta Falcons defense that I think we have to start paying attention to. They did this a week ago. They slugged their way out of one of the toughest, probably the toughest divisions in football. You got to see the Saints and Drew Brees and Cam Newton, and you know, maybe that tough road is paying dividends right now for the Falcons on defense.
And they might set their sights on one Nick Foles and the Eagles in a week. He's thrown underneath, and Gurley will try to get out of bounds, but he's not even close, and it's Ray Wilson who makes the stop. Want to conserve that last timeout. It's going to be 4th down and 6.
Last timeout Rams. That's their 3rd and final timeout.
So they use it here. 72 seconds and 4th down coming up.
Well, let's take a look at the unsung heroes in my estimation. The tackling of Brian Poole all night long, and this entire secondary. We've seen Keanu Neal. He was down in the box to stop the run. Robert Alford has made about 3 or 4 plays down the field just like that. In the biggest of moments, Trufant taking away their 3rd down options and some big shots. So this is now a secondary that is gaining confidence at just the right time. And they have a full complement. Boy, that has been some job that they have done on the outside tonight.
Marquand Manuel, the defensive coordinator, and he's so proud of his group. 4th down and 6 here. Goff throws. He throws a wobbly pass that is incomplete. Robert Woods was the intended receiver, and that will write a finish to this one.
Yeah, I tell you, Al, you hit on it, and I agree with you. Marquand Manuel has done a fantastic job turning this team around. They weren't very good against the run. They improved. Secondary spent a lot of extra time, and not all of the memories of that Super Bowl, but certainly a start for this football team in this moment to come in here on the road and get a win.
Team owner Arthur Blank. So he's going to watch his team go to Philadelphia. We'll have that game for you next Saturday afternoon here on NBC. One more kneel down will end it. And last year they had a clearer path to the playoffs, a bye, 2 home games. This will have to be 3 road games, the second of which will be next week. It'll be 3:30 Eastern time when our coverage will begin from Philadelphia. NBC, home of Super Bowl 52, will be in Minneapolis 4 weeks from tomorrow. So the Rams, their dream season comes to an end, but this is too good of a team not to wind up as contenders for a long time, you would think. Brilliant young coach, quarterback, even though tonight was not their night. And Atlanta, that defense, they were all about offense last year. Now they're pretty much about defense.
Yeah, we talked about it in the open, and for Andrew Whitworth, for all those years in Cincinnati, and they couldn't win a playoff game, he was so excited about coming here, and same old thing for him.
Yeah, he is 0-7 in postseason play. Going to congratulate Matthews before they head back to the locker room. So the final score is 26-13. The Atlanta Falcons over the Los Angeles Rams. Coming up next is the Volkswagen postgame report.